At the moment the ballroom screen blinked, I was holding an anniversary toast and watching my wife disappear into somebody else's private light. By dawn, my firm's safety seal would be under attack, and the man beside her would be telling donors I had staged my own humiliation. I could lose the work that paid our staff, the marriage I had treated like shelter, and the calm judgment that made clients trust me. Weeks later, with a crowd pressing toward a balcony that was not ready to hold them, I would have to decide whether protecting everyone included the people who had broken me. That night, I still believed the worst thing in the room was the screen. The sponsor screen showed my wife kissing Booker Hale in a service elevator. 1 second it held blue donor graphics over a field of gold names. The next, Booker's hand was at Amara's waist, her fingers curled against his collar. Stage lights spilled through the elevator doorway around them. I stood beneath the ballroom spotlight with our anniversary toast in my hand. Amara pulled back. She looked toward Booker before she looked toward me. "Kill it," Rhea Kim said near the control table. "Now!" Nadia Pike's voice snapped through the production headsets. "That's not my cue. The sponsor channel patched to..." Rhea Kim reached the control table and killed the feed before Nadia could explain. The screen went black, and the venue kept the raw feed and routing record. "Program black," Nadia said. "The patch is still logged." "Preserve it, no copies," Rhea said. "Clear the sponsor wall." Booker came through the service entrance without hurrying. Malik Torres caught a server before a tray of champagne went down. Grant pushed away from our table. The whisper reached me first. "He set it up." "Caleb?" "Jealous husband thing." Booker adjusted his cuff and let the rumor breathe. At 38, I made my living keeping commercial buildings from turning confusion into casualties. Grant was my younger brother, my co-owner, and one of the people whose paychecks depended on row compliance. Our mother depended on both of us for meals and medication after her stroke. I knew how panic moved. First the eyes, then the hands, then the exits. "Caleb," Amara said from below the stage. I lowered the microphone and squared the toast card against the lectern. "Did you know the camera was live?" "No." It was the quickest answer she gave me. It was not the answer I needed. Grant reached the stage. "Tell me where he is." "No." "He was touching your wife." "I saw." "Then why are we standing here?" "Because I won't let you become his proof." The toast, her visible loyalty, and my standing in that room disappeared together. I folded the card once and put it in my pocket. Amara took a step toward me. "Please don't leave like this." "I'm not staying like this." The deeper question was whether Booker needed me discredited before his venue opened. I still did not know whether the screen change was an accident or an arrangement. I did not know whether Amara would ever choose truth when it cost her. I stepped down and took the service side before Grant could turn my humiliation into Booker's evidence. Behind me, the whispers hardened. The service corridor smelled of wet mop water, hot wiring, and spilled wine. Red exit signs marked both ends. A catering cart narrowed the eastern path by 8 inches, so Malik moved it before I asked. Grant moved the other way, toward the ballroom entrance Booker had used. I put one hand on Grant's chest and stopped him. "Move," he said. "No." "He was touching your wife." "I saw." "Then get out of my way. I won't let you become his proof." That held him. Not because it made him less angry. Grant understood exposure. He ran his thumb along the edge of his phone case and looked toward the ballroom. "Fine," he said. "Practical summary. We're leaving, our biggest client is in there, and everybody thinks you staged a sex tape." "Accidental feed." "You know that?" "No. That's why you're not hitting anyone." I marked both exit signs and the clear lane between them. It gave my hands something useful to do. Nadia came through the fire door with her headset hanging around her neck. She counted silently on her fingers before speaking. Channel 4 was sponsor graphics. Channel 7 was the service camera. I called standby, then the program monitor changed. I didn't take 7 live. Who could change it? Control booth. Rhea appeared behind her and smoothed the lapel of her gala jacket. "This area is restricted," she said. "The incident will be reviewed through appropriate channels." "Can I speak to production?" "You can submit a request." Rhea planted herself at the booth door and refused me access. I did not touch the handle. I stayed in the public corridor and took only voluntary answers. "Sequence only," I told Nadia. "Who entered? Who left? Who controlled doors? No guesses about why." Her shoulders lowered 1/2 inch. Malik checked where each of his workers stood before he spoke. "My people were redirected from the west corridor 20 minutes before your toast." "By whom?" Event staff, I didn't get a name, so I'm not giving you one. Good. He studied me. That isn't what most husbands say right now. I'm not asking you as a husband. The lie in that was limited. Pain had brought me there. It did not get to write the questions. Grant glanced toward the ballroom. Booker's still inside. Let him stay. Rhea had the booth, the records, and the room's first story. I had 3 frightened witnesses, a folded toast card, and a corridor map. For that night, it had to be enough. By 5:40 Saturday morning, the voicemail lights at row compliance were blinking in sequence. I lined the messages up by timestamp. Cold coffee sat beside the phone. Grant listened from the other side of the conference table, joking until the 4th call. "Caleb," one donor said, "Booker tells me the screen incident may have been an intentional disruption connected to your marital difficulties." Another asked whether our safety judgment could remain objective. Grant stopped smiling. Jonas Reed called at 6:12. I put him on speaker. "I need to qualify this carefully," he said. I heard paper move and imagined him aligning his pen beside it. Booker contacted 3 funders before 6. Rhea's version matched Booker's almost word for word. "What version?" Grant asked. "That Caleb used his production access to create a jealous public confrontation." "I had no production access," I said. "I understand. Materially, the absence of access has not slowed the claim." Booker had called donors and labeled me jealous, unstable, and capable of sabotage. Rhea had restricted the one room that could disprove him. A private betrayal had become a coordinated professional threat. Nadia called from her car. "It was a mispatch," she said. "Wrong camera on the program bus when the sponsor queue advanced. I can explain the channel sequence, but Rhea told me not to contact vendors." "Do you have footage?" "No. Venue does. I don't keep private copies." "Don't get one." There was a pause. "You believe me?" "I believe you know your console." Amara answered on the 4th call. "Will you call Rhea and say I did not stage the feed?" I asked. Her breath caught. "Not yet." "Did I stage it?" "No." "Then correct it. If I call now, it will look like you're making me protect you." She let the sabotage claim stand while Booker worked the donors. "This isn't about protecting me from the kiss," I said. "It's about a false statement concerning my firm. I need time to understand what happened." "You were in the elevator. That isn't all that happened." "Then tell the truth about the part you know." She said my name softly. For 10 years, that softness had meant come home, the tea is ready, tell me one ordinary thing that went right. This time, it meant absorb the delay. Amara said she would not make the correction call. I ended the call before softness could become permission. By sunrise, calm judgment had become evidence against me. Now I had to recover my reputation for impartial safety judgment. Booker and Rhea were using donor confidence as operational power. The marriage had to wait. The firm could not. Jonas gave us until donor offices opened to decide whether Booker could keep using our endorsement. The withdrawal letter came out of the printer warm. Grant read it once, then again, rubbing his phone case with his thumb. "Hard truth," he said. "This hurts payroll. Fixable? If everybody else pays on time and nobody panics. So no, but survivable." Jonas sat at the end of our conference table with a contract folder open in front of him. He reordered his pen beside every page before speaking. "Your endorsement is technically informal," he said. "Financially, it is not. Jonas warned that donor confidence would collapse without our seal." "You just referred to yourself in the 3rd person," Grant said. Jonas blinked. "I have been awake too long." It was the first harmless thing in the room. None of us laughed much. I pushed the letter toward him. Effective immediately, row compliance withdrew permission for the venue to represent our prior walkthrough as a current safety endorsement. The notice withdrew branding only and left permit duties with the venue and city. It disclosed a professional conflict. It did not mention Amara, the elevator, or Booker's hand on her waist. Jonas read the final paragraph. "You understand this may terminate the flagship relationship?" "Yes." "And possibly other work connected to these funders?" "Yes." Grant leaned back. "Ask him the real question." Jonas met my eyes. "Are you doing this because Booker slept with your wife?" "No. I'm doing it because he is using my name while calling my judgment corrupt. He cannot have both." Grant nodded once. "Documented. Fixable later. If facts change." Jonas's hand stayed near the unsigned acknowledgement. "There will be pressure to explain. Our reports speak to safety. My marriage does not." Grant and I signed the withdrawal of our voluntary safety endorsement. Jonas signed that he had received it. The flagship relationship was gone before the printer cooled. The loss landed in practical places first. A project code removed from the schedule. A revenue column grant closed without saving. 3 staff assignments we would have to replace. But Booker no longer had my firm's name to hide behind. I aligned the signature pages twice, then stopped myself. The new question was whether our firm could survive the boundary. That answer would take months. The next access point could not wait that long. Before nightfall, I had to decide who could enter my bedroom, use my income, and call familiar comfort a repair. Our 2 spare keys still hung from one hook beside the kitchen calendar. Amara stood beneath them in stocking feet, still wearing one gala earring. She straightened a grocery receipt, turned it 90 degrees, then straightened it again. I put Celeste's pill schedule on the counter between us. "The guest room is mine until I arrange somewhere else," I said. "No physical intimacy. Household bills stay funded, care expenses stay funded, existing joint funds stayed untouched. My future distributions would go to a separate account." Her eyes moved to the bank confirmation in my hand. "You changed where your money goes." "Future income. I did not empty or freeze anything." "You made this official before asking me what happened." "I asked whether I staged the feed. You knew I didn't, and you refused to say so." She stepped closer. I recognized the scent at her throat. My body understood the distance as an error before my mind remembered why it was necessary. I stepped back. Her face changed. "Please don't make our home another room you inspect. I'm setting a threshold." "You always have a better word." "Then give me a better fact." She looked toward the dark window. "With Booker, I wasn't translating someone else's vision. I wasn't writing grants or managing care or making everybody else visible. I felt like the light was on me." "How many times?" Her fingers tightened around the receipt. "Amara." It felt like an awakening. She called the affair an awakening and promised me a dated timeline. I asked how many times. "I will give you dates. I will sit down and answer." "When?" "Tuesday." "Why not tonight?" "Because I don't want the truth to become whatever I say while you're standing there looking at me like a failed structure. A failed structure can kill people. This is a choice." Her voice dropped. "The marriage was still home. Home does not mean you keep one door protected while using another." She touched the key hook but did not remove her key. "I set separate bedroom, account, intimacy, and care terms. Any future entry between us would require permission." Her eyes filled, but she did not look away. "You're trying to make me feel the loss." "No. I'm refusing to hide it from you." I squared the pill schedule beside the keys. Celeste's care would continue without becoming a weapon. Amara looked at the medication times. "Your mother cannot absorb a sudden change in routine. Her recovery depends on consistency." That was the next door she tried. This time, Celeste would answer for herself. Celeste folded dish towels into exact rectangles, while Amara explained why I needed to remain at home. The pill organizer sat on the coffee table. I checked that the Saturday night compartment was empty, then kept my hands away from it. "His moving out changes the morning routine," Amara said. "Stress affects blood pressure. Missed meals affect medication. We can't act as if this only concerns us." Celeste folded another towel. Amara used Celeste's recovery to argue that I had to stay home. I wanted to answer. That was my old reflex. Identify the danger, speak for the person nearest it, make myself useful enough that nobody could leave. Instead, I asked, "Mom, what do you want?" Celeste looked at Amara. "Do you believe I cannot answer because I had a stroke?" "No. Of course not." "Then why are you using my breakfast to keep my son in his marriage?" Amara straightened the cuff of her sweater. "I'm trying to protect the stability we built. You should have protected it before now." "Celeste." "No. Family support is not a hostage note." The sentence landed without volume. Amara sat back. "Change routines could hurt you. Then we will make a decent new routine. Caleb can sleep here. You can still handle Tuesday meals if you choose. Providers do not change. Medication does not change. My doorway does." I swallowed. "I won't withdraw care to punish her." "I know," Celeste said. "Will you also stop accepting care as a reason to punish yourself?" She waited through my silence. The hope of a careful repair gave way to separate shelter. Amara looked at me. "So this is decided." "My care is decided," Celeste said. "Your marriage is not mine to decide." Caregiving leverage had failed because the person receiving care refused it. Amara could not call my departure abandonment. I could not call it freedom and disappear. Celeste placed one badly folded towel on top of the perfect stack. "You can take the spare room," she told me. "That is a bed, not a verdict. Are you hungry?" I was. I had not noticed until she asked. I had to move before morning care began. By Sunday evening, Celeste stood in the spare room doorway while I tried to make Saturday night on her couch look temporary instead of aimless. "Put the calendar where I can read it," she said. I posted the shared care calendar and took the small spare room. The dry markers squeaked across the laminate as I wrote meals, medication checks, appointments, and provider visits. Celeste leaned closer. "Tuesday dinner? Amara, if you still want her here, I want dinner. Whether I want conversation depends on the soup." The room held a narrow bed, an old desk, and a beige vent cover. In our first apartment, I had taught Amara why smoke gathered above the ceiling line. She painted that vent cover gold, because safety, she said, did not have to look frightened. Amara appeared behind Celeste with my duffel. "You left these," she said. She set the bag inside the doorway without crossing it. Celeste stepped aside, but Amara stayed at the threshold. "You could have used the guest room," she told me. "No. This feels like punishment." She touched my sleeve near the wrist. Familiar pressure, familiar warmth. I moved my arm gently out of her hand. "A punishment is meant to force behavior," I said. "This keeps habit from deciding for me. What am I allowed to ask you? Logistics? Care? The timeline Tuesday? And if I need my husband? I don't know what that word gives you right now." Celeste carried a stack of towels to the desk and folded one between us. "Read the schedule aloud," she said. I did. When I finished, she tapped the bottom line. "Either of you may request a change. I approve it. Neither of you trades my care for access to the other. Is that clear?" "Yes," I said. Amara straightened the duffel strap. "Yes." Celeste approved the schedule and kept authority over every change. Care continued, but cohabitation stopped being compulsory. Amara looked once at the bed, then at me. Tuesday. She left without asking for a key. After the front door closed, my phone buzzed. Nadia would meet me Monday morning, but only if every question stayed sequence only. I answered yes before she could change her mind. Malik's closed prep room smelled of coffee and stainless steel. A warming urn hissed behind us. Nadia sat with her headset coiled on the table and counted channels on her fingers before she spoke. 4 was sponsor graphics, she said. 7 was the elevator camera used for service security and line checks. I called standby on 4. The program switch accepted 7. I did not select it. Could the system do that without intent? A stale patch can. It should have been cleared after line check. Who made the mistake? I don't know yet. I won't name somebody because Rhea wants a clean firing. I'm not asking you to. I kept my pen off private names. I asked only who controlled the doors and feeds. Nadia watched me. No questions about what they were doing? I saw enough. Malik checked through the small window to confirm where each worker stood. Then he sat. My crew had the West Service corridor until 8:12, he said. At 8:13, event staff directed us east. At 8:23, Amara went west. Booker followed about 2 minutes later. Who ordered the redirect? One of Booker's production people delivered it. I didn't see who authorized it. What time did your crew get the corridor back? After the screen went black. Malik gave exact corridor times and refused to guess at motive. Could it have been ordinary donor security? I asked. It could have been called that, he said. Ordinary security doesn't usually hide the service staff from the route they use. Nadia tapped channel 7 on her finger. The camera exposure was a mistake. The space around that elevator was managed. The feed had misfired, but the corridor had been deliberately cleared. The distinction mattered. An accident had put the image on the screen. Someone had created the privacy that made the image possible. Do either of you want me to stop taking notes? I asked. No, Nadia said. Malik shook his head. Write what I said, not what a husband might want it to mean. They gave voluntary operational accounts and kept control of their own observations. They transferred no footage, personnel files, or donor records. I kept only my notes. That limit bought more trust than pressure would have. Nadia's phone lit against the table. She read the message and went still. Rhea knows I talked to you, she said. She wants me at the loading entrance this afternoon. The coffee urn clicked off. Nadia pressed her badge to the loading entrance reader. The light flashed red. She tried again. Same result. Rhea came through the door wearing her event badge high on her lapel. Your opening night assignment has been adjusted. Nadia counted once on her fingers. Adjusted means removed. The console requires confidence after a serious technical incident. You asked me to say Caleb arranged the feed. I asked for an account sensitive to institutional impact. You asked me to lie. Rhea smoothed her badge. No one is terminating your broader employment. Another operator will handle opening night. The revised call sheet removed Nadia from the opening, not her broader employment. Malik looked through the loading bay at his crew before facing Rhea. If you move my people through the east storage route again, I withdraw them. That would affect future vendor confidence, Rhea said. My people use a clean route, or they don't move. Malik, I said. He looked at me. Once, politely. You set the limit. Don't give her a second threat to use. His jaw worked, but he stepped back. Rhea removed Nadia from opening night and restricted the production records. When I requested the routing log, Rhea said, the review will determine what may be released. Your personal conflict makes direct access inappropriate. On that point, she was right. She did not get to erase the records, though. I submitted the request through the venue system. The response denied immediate access, but supplied a retention reference confirming that routing logs, cue sheets, and access change records remained in venue custody. The venue denied me direct access, but confirmed the logs remained under retention. Nadia stared at the failed badge reader. This is because I wouldn't give them the sentence they wanted. I know. What happens now? We document the removal. You challenge it through production review if you choose. I don't speak for you. She studied me, then nodded. Worker retaliation made my privacy line harder, not weaker. I promised no witness would be spent for me, and that included keeping Malik from sacrificing his crew in my name. Nadia's refusal to lie had put her production future at risk. At dusk, my phone vibrated with a message from an unknown number. The preview thumbnail showed the frozen ballroom screen. Amara's face turned toward Booker, and guests caught beneath it. The message said the full recording would clear me. All I had to do was release it first. The blue light from my phone spread across Celeste's pill bottles. The message offered one clean lie, that humiliation became ethical if I aimed it at the right person. Download the full file. Post it. Let everyone see what Hale did. I turned the phone face down. Then I turned it over and read the message again. The thumbnail showed Booker near Amara in the elevator image. It also showed Nadia at the console, Malik's workers beneath the screen, donors with their mouths open, and servers who had never agreed to become scenery in my marriage. Celeste entered, set tea beside the sink, and left without asking. I wrote back. I do not consent to transfer. Do not send me a copy. Submit any operational evidence to the venue incident review. I refused the recording without downloading, forwarding, or describing it. Amara arrived with Celeste's Monday meal containers, while the refusal message still showed as delivered. She stopped on the other side of the counter. Was that the recording? An offer. Did you watch it? No. She placed the containers in the refrigerator. Why not? Because clearing my name does not give me ownership of everyone caught in that room. Her eyes stayed on my phone. You could have used it against Booker. And you. Yes. It was the first blunt answer she had given me. I'm not protecting what you chose, I said. I'm protecting people who did not choose to be my ammunition. She straightened the label on one container. I don't know whether that makes this better or worse. It isn't for you. After she left, I called Nadia and Malik together. You really didn't open it? Nadia asked. No. Malik exhaled. Good. My people were visible when the screen changed. The sender has been referred to review. I retained no copy and referred the sender to the venue review. Nadia was quiet for a moment. Then I'll tell you what the console remembers. Not footage, routing entries. Only what you are authorized to discuss. The review can release metadata. I'll ask. The fastest revenge path was closed, and I felt cleaner, not satisfied. Nadia and Malik believed my limit because it had cost me something. Instant vindication was gone. The rumor remained. Booker still had donors repeating his language. Now only restricted operational evidence could separate what happened by accident from what had been arranged. The venue's internal review gave us 40 minutes in the shuttered stage booth. No raw video, no private copies. A production summary displayed time-stamped routing entries and access changes, while the originals remained in venue custody. We reviewed metadata only. The venue retained the original logs and all video. Rhea stood behind us with her arms folded. Nadia sat at the console she was no longer assigned to use on opening night. Malik waited near the door. Nadia whispered, "Stand by," out of habit. "Show me the sponsor cue," I said. She pointed to the first entry. Channel 7 stayed in preview after the elevator line check. At 8:31, Channel 4 advanced and accepted that stale patch. Rhea adjusted her badge. "Serious operator error." "Error," Nadia said. "Not intentional sabotage." I nodded. "Now the corridor access." Nadia moved to the next entries. At 8:11, 3 Western service doors changed from general staff access to event-controlled access. Requested by whom? Booker's production allocation. Routine donor security, Rhea said. Malik stepped away from the door. My crew was redirected at 8:13. How long did the change hold? I asked. 47 minutes, Nadia said. The elevator corridor was included. Malik checked the times on his notes. Amara entered at 8:23. Booker followed at 8:25. We got the route back after the screen went black. Rhea's voice sharpened. Future assignments for both of you depend on discretion. My people don't trade safety or truth for access, Malik said. Nadia rested her finger beside the routing entry. Neither do I. The metadata and Malik's timing showed Booker's team had controlled the corridor. It did not prove Booker planned the public exposure. It proved his team created abnormal privacy. Then he used the accidental exposure to accuse me of sabotage. Could anyone else have requested those door changes under his allocation? I asked. Yes, Nadia said. But the request still came through his team. Rhea said, You are drawing a personal conclusion from routine records. No, I said. I'm separating 2 events. Accidental routing was finally separate from deliberate privacy. The screen error was accidental, and Booker's corridor control was not. I photographed nothing. I left with permitted notes, the review reference, and Malik's independent times. The venue retained every original. At the door, Nadia asked, What will you do with it? Ask my wife for dates before she has time to make the story beautiful. Amara had placed 2 cups of tea on the marital kitchen table. Both were cold by the time she gave me the first date. April 3rd, she said. I squared my index card with the table edge. What happened? Booker asked me to stay after a donor dinner. I stayed. Were you alone? Yes. Did you have an off-ramp? Her mouth tightened. I could have left with Monica and the staff. But you stayed. Yes. She straightened the same gala program twice. Next date. April 17th. He invited me to see the unfinished venue after hours. Did you tell me? No. What did you tell me? That the committee meeting ran late. The answer hit harder than the elevator image. That night I had heated soup for Celeste, checked 2 inspection revisions, and left Amara a note asking her to tell me one ordinary thing that had gone right. Did you kiss him? Yes. Next date. May 2nd. Her voice had lost its images. We met in the venue office. I chose the meeting. I chose what happened there. I could have canceled, and I didn't. Amara admitted several chosen meetings with Booker before the gala. The one lapse hope was gone, replaced by an incomplete timeline. She looked at me across the tea rings. What I said about awakening was true. It was also a way to make the choices sound larger than they were. How large were they? Large enough to destroy what I thought would always be home. You keep using home as if it remained untouched. The marriage was home. The marriage was where you stored the cost. She closed her eyes. I asked about the service elevator. Booker told me the corridor would be private, she said. I knew we were taking a risk. I did not know the camera would go live. The feed evidence supported that much. It did not excuse anything else. After the screen changed, why did you look at him before me? Because I wanted him to tell me what to do. And when he called me jealous, I froze. You stayed frozen through several donor calls. Yes. I set another page beside the dates. It contained the phrase already circulating through the committee. Caleb's possessiveness contributed to the gala disruption. Who drafted that language? Amara's hand stopped on the program. Answer the exact question. I'm not ready to name that person. She refused to name who drafted the blame language. Did you approve it? I said I would give you the timeline. That is not an answer. No. No. You did not approve it? No. I am not answering that tonight. She gave me the meetings and withheld the author. Partial truth had destroyed her one-lapse account. Controlled disclosure protected something else. I stood and took my cards. Tuesday was the deadline for dates, I said. You met it badly. The next deadline concerns the false story. What happens if I miss that one? You lose the right to call your silence confusion. I still needed to learn whether she had approved the false blame. Before I left, I wrote the off-ramp on a clean page. Correct the sabotage claim privately in writing before I forced every enabler to choose whether the lie was worth keeping. Wednesday morning, Grant and I entered the balcony corridor with a scope sheet, 2 flashlights, and enough resentment to make bad work look personal. That was why we followed the paper. Rhea walked behind us. Booker stood near the balcony doors with Malik, who was checking the service route for his crew. The finished work is complete, Rhea said. Your inspection remains limited to the listed corridor and access points. Understood. The gold-painted trim shifted when I pressed the door lever. A thin flake landed on Grant's glove. He held it up. Expensive camouflage. Documented camouflage, I said. The latch tongue reached the strike plate, but stopped short of entering it. I pulled the door closed twice. It opened under light pressure both times. Gold paint had been laid over a latch that did not engage. Amara had once painted the vent cover in our first apartment gold after I explained how smoke gathered above the ceiling line. She had said safety did not have to look frightened. This gold was different. It was meant to stop questions. Grant set the paint flake in an inspection sleeve, then raised his camera. Beyond the defective latch, 2 decorative wall panels and a stack of unopened display crates occupied most of the striped secondary egress lane. Malik checked the placement before speaking. Those aren't my carts. My people were told this route would stay open. They are temporary, Rhea said. Temporary obstruction still obstructs, I said. Booker smiled. You have become remarkably attentive since the gala. The latch does not know my marital status. His smile narrowed. Rhea stepped toward the stacked panels. Storage is outside your contracted access. We don't need to enter storage, Grant said. The blockage is visible from the corridor we are authorized to inspect. Grant and I found 2 defects without crossing a single boundary in our contract. Grant photographed the latch, the blocked lane, the scope sheet, and my watch in one frame. I wrote the time and conditions in my field notebook. He compared my entry to his, and we initialed both. I'm requesting that the balcony remain unused until neutral inspection, I said. You are not the authority who makes that determination, Rhea replied. No. That's why the request goes to the fire marshal. Booker turned away first. Malik stayed where he was, keeping his body between the stacked panels and his workers. The balcony problem would still exist if Amara and Booker had never touched. Opening was coming, and the blocked route was waiting above the room. Vera Chen's office had fluorescent lighting strong enough to turn the gold dust inside our evidence sleeve almost white. Grant sat beside me, running his thumb along the edge of his phone case. I reordered the photographs before sliding them across Vera's desk. We stayed inside the active scope, I said. The door, latch, and blocked lane were visible from authorized areas. Vera did not reach for the photographs. Your personal conflict? Booker Hale is involved with my wife. He and Rhea Kim have also accused me of engineering the gala feed interruption. Grant exhaled through his nose. I signed the conflict disclosure before Vera touched the photographs. She read every line. I need 3 things understood. First, I am not validating your motive. Second, I will inspect the condition independently. Third, your firm's access and conduct will receive the same scrutiny as the venue. She would inspect the venue and our conduct under the same standard. Grant's thumb moved faster against his phone. Vera looked at him. Business exposure? He answered before I could. If Caleb exceeded scope, we could lose more than the venue contract. If we sit on a visible hazard, we deserve to lose more. Concise, Vera said. He practices when payroll is threatened. One joke, Grant said. That was it. Vera finally opened the sleeve. Who retains the originals? Our firm. These are review copies. Any photographs outside the safety condition? No. Any marital evidence submitted with them? No. Her eyes rested on me for another second. Good. Keep it that way. We gave Vera review copies, kept the originals, and requested an inspection before the next opening approval. She stamped the conflict form and issued an inspection notice to the venue. Booker and Rhea would receive the same notice. It contained the reported conditions and our declared conflict, not the affair details. "Do not represent this office as agreeing with you," Vera said. "I won't. And do not alter the condition before I see it." That notice goes to the venue. It goes to everyone. Grant co-signed the submission receipt. The official process had begun, and I no longer controlled where it ended. The question of whether my conflict had contaminated the safety work was now hers to test. We had barely reached the municipal parking lot when Jonas Reed called and asked us to come to his office before Booker decided what could still be called immaterial. Jonas's office was built from glass, polished steel, and the belief that no one should ever raise his voice around money. Booker and Rhea were already there. Grant took the chair beside mine. Jonas placed a closed contract folder on the table and realigned his pen beside it. "I am not releasing client documents," he said. "I can describe representations made in meetings I attended." "That is all I'm asking for," I said. Booker leaned back. "This distinction between Caleb's scope and the venue's readiness is becoming theatrical." I placed our withdrawal letter on the table. "What were donors told my endorsement covered?" Jonas glanced at Booker. The language varied. One plain answer. He touched the pen, then removed his hand. They were told row compliance's involvement provided assurance that opening risks were controlled. "Our informal endorsement covered listed public areas before the layout changes," Grant said. "Not the completed venue, not the balcony." "I know," Jonas replied. Rhea folded her hands. "Donor confidence depends on broad impressions." "Broad impressions are not engineering scopes," I said. Booker smiled before he spoke. "Jonas, client relationships of this caliber require judgment about what is material." Jonas straightened the pen after his hand started shaking. "The unresolved scope was material," he said. "Caleb's withdrawal threatened release decisions because his name had been used more broadly than his written work supported." Booker's smile remained in place. "You should consider whether this disclosure protects your professional future," he said. Jonas looked at Booker and chose the account over the client. "I am considering it," Jonas said. "That is why I'm speaking now." Booker had sold my narrow endorsement as broad donor assurance. The gala rumor made more sense after that. If I was a jealous husband abusing professional authority, donors could dismiss my withdrawal as instability instead of asking what my firm had actually inspected. My professional discrediting had not been improvised after the gala. I aligned my scope letter with Jonas's untouched contract folder. "Will you state what you witnessed if asked through a proper review? With the same qualifications I gave you?" "No exaggeration." "None." I did not ask him for files. I left with his first-hand account our own withdrawal letter and an answer to the question that had started under the ballroom spotlight. Grant waited until the elevator doors closed. "Litigation?" "Not yet." "You have another move?" "One private correction offer. Workers first, safety second, my reputation third." "And if they reject it?" "Then misunderstanding stops being available to them." The next morning, I placed a 2-page correction proposal on the venue conference table. Booker left it untouched. Rhea had cold coffee beside her and the green exit sign behind her shoulder. Amara sat near the far end. Nadia stood by the door she had once entered as the opening night stage manager. "There are 3 terms," I said. "First, correct the sabotage statement everywhere it was circulated. Second, clear Nadia of intentional misconduct and restore her assignment without requiring a false account. Third, describe my firm's work according to its actual scope." Booker scanned the first page without moving it. "This is an attempt to turn private injury into operational control." "No. Operational detail is the point." Rhea smoothed her badge. "Confidence could be restored quickly if row compliance reinstated its endorsement. Nadia's name is not conditional on my seal." "Everything is connected at this stage," Rhea said. Nadia counted on her fingers before answering. "The patch was accidental. I won't sign anything saying Caleb arranged it, and I won't accept the assignment if that is the price." Amara looked at her. Nadia held the look. Booker said, "No serious institution allows a technician to define its narrative." "She is defining the cue she operated," I said. "Nothing more." I offered them correction without endorsement and a private way to stop harming workers. My draft defamation demand remained in my folder. I told them I would hold it while they considered the terms. They did not have to discuss the affair, the elevator footage, or anyone's private conduct. They only had to correct claims they knew were unsupported. Rhea pushed the proposal back toward me. Restore the endorsement first. Then the language can be revisited. No. Booker's smile arrived before the threat. Caleb, you are trading away your last opportunity to remain relevant to this opening. I'm giving you an opportunity to correct the record without turning staff into collateral. And if we decline? You will have declined with witnesses present. Amara finally spoke. Booker, why can't Nadia be cleared separately? Because fragmentation destroys momentum, he said. The opening needs one confident vision. His attention settled on Amara with a warmth he had not given anyone else in the room. There are other ways to establish confidence, he said. Some people should be seen leading instead of apologizing for the people who hold them back. Amara's fingers stopped on the edge of her program. Rhea checked the time. Donor rehearsal begins this afternoon. Any alternative needs to be settled before then. Booker stood and looked directly at Amara. Then perhaps we should discuss the role this venue was always meant to give you. Bass from the rehearsal speakers moved through the gallery floor before the music became audible. Years earlier, before one of Amara's first community openings, she had pressed my palm against the back wall of an empty theater and asked whether I could feel the room waiting. I had felt the vibration first and her hand over mine second. That afternoon, I kept my hands at my sides. Booker stood with Amara in the white light spilling through the gallery doorway. He gave her enough space to leave. He also knew exactly how to make the space between them feel chosen. This venue needs a public muse, he said. Not another administrator explaining other people's work. You would be its artistic voice. Donors would know your name. The opening would center your vision. Amara lifted her face toward him. Her shoulders loosened in a way I remembered from rooms where she had finally stopped managing everyone else. Rhea held a rehearsal schedule against her chest. Nadia waited near the wall. What authority would the role carry? Amara asked. Booker smiled. Access, commissions, a studio here, the freedom to stop translating yourself into committee language. The offer reached her. I saw it in the pause before she breathed. Then Booker looked at me. Row compliance restores its endorsement. Nadia returns under a unified account. Amara steps forward as the venue's public muse. Booker offered Amara a public title, a studio, and donor access if I restored the seal. Nadia's hands closed once, then opened. You tied my job to his endorsement, she said. I tied everyone's future to momentum. Rhea added, We need Amara's answer before rehearsal begins. Booker turned back to her. Caleb can end the punishment whenever he chooses. The language was clean. The bargain was not. Amara's desired visibility, Nadia's work, and my professional surrender had been bound together and placed under stage light. I checked the doorway instead of stepping between them. Amara looked at me. Are you going to say anything? One question, I said. Do you want me to answer for you? Her mouth parted. Then she looked at Booker. No. Booker spread one hand. Then there is nothing complicated here. There is, Amara said. I want time alone. Rhea checked her schedule. You have 20 minutes. Booker stepped closer, not touching her. Do you really need privacy to accept what you already want? Yes, she said. I need you outside the room. He did not enjoy that answer. Amara held the offer. I held only the boundary. She entered the committee room with Rhea and Monica. Booker walked in after them when Rhea called his name. I stayed outside. Once before, I had left an opening when Amara's panic rose and waited until she chose whether to follow me. This time, I did not offer an exit. She had to choose one herself. The committee room door had a metal bar handle cold enough to show every fingerprint. I kept both hands off it. Rehearsal bass pulsed through the wall. The voices inside were muffled until Booker raised his. Caleb's control did not begin at the gala, Amara answered, but I could not make out the words. Then Rhea's voice carried through the door. Your directorship is not insulated from this decision. Silence followed. The door opened 6 minutes later. Monica came out first. She closed her folder before standing beside Amara. Rhea followed, adjusting her badge. Booker stopped in the doorway. Monica held 2 signed pages. For accuracy, she said. Amara declined the proposed role, disclosed a donor conflict, and resigned from the gala committee effective before rehearsal. Amara rejected the muse role, filed the conflict disclosure, and resigned from the gala committee. Booker looked at me. You got the performance you wanted. I wasn't in the room. You didn't need to be. Amara turned toward him. Caleb did not make this decision. You have spent 10 years letting him define the limits of your life. I chose the meetings with you, she said. I chose to keep them secret. I am choosing not to let you price my work with his name or Nadia's job. Nadia lowered her head once. Not gratitude. Recognition. Ria said, the board will have to consider whether your judgment remains compatible with the directorship. Then they should consider it, Amara replied. Monica showed us the updated committee roster. Amara's name had been removed. The organization retained the signed resignation and conflict disclosure. No intimate details appeared in either document. Booker walked away toward the rehearsal floor. Amara looked at me after he left. She had straightened one corner of the program and left the other bent. I said no. Before I knew what it would earn, she said. It does not earn forgiveness. I know. I believed she had wanted the role. That mattered. Refusing something unwanted would have cost nothing. You chose it, I said. That is all I'm asking you to acknowledge. I did. I did not touch her. For one narrow moment, hope returned without access. Amara had proven Booker's promise did not control her. Monica reopened her folder. There is still a record problem, she said. One set of approved committee minutes gives a different explanation for the gala, and Amara's name is on the approval. The room had offered relief, then placed another locked door behind it. The committee record took the weekend to surface through the organization's revision history. Monday morning, Monica placed the original minutes on the record's office table and kept one hand beside them. You may view the relevant page, because you are directly named, she said. You may not photograph it or remove a copy. I understand. Amara sat across from me. Ria was not present, but her donor stewardship language occupied most of the paragraph. Booker's calls were described as necessary stabilization. My withdrawal was described as escalation. Then I reached the final sentence. Her blue ink signature sat beneath the sentence, calling my possessiveness the cause of the gala disruption. Monica kept the original minutes under her hand and gave me no copy. I squared the page with the table edge. Was this wording required? I asked. No, Monica said. I recommended neutral language stating that the feed interruption remained under review. Was the possessiveness claim supported by the production record? No, Amara said. The programs were in danger. Booker's funding was holding several of them together. Monica closed the revision folder. The wording was optional, Amara. It was also false. She offered me water. I aligned the glass with the minutes without drinking. The narrow hope from Thursday collapsed against one line of blue ink. Amara had not merely frozen while other people damaged me. She had approved language that made my restraint sound dangerous and my professional withdrawal sound abusive. The belief that Amara had only frozen was gone for good. You knew I had not sabotaged the feed, I said. Yes. You knew the access changes came from Booker's team. I did not know the full timing then. You knew enough to avoid signing this. Yes. Monica logged that she had shown me only the relevant excerpt and revision history. The original stayed in organizational custody. She then opened the correction process under the governance policy. I pushed the page back under her hand. Stay, I told Amara. She did. Why did you sign it? I was trying to hold the programs inside a frame that was already breaking. That is an image. I asked for the interest you protected. Her fingers moved toward her cuff. I stood. That afternoon, I said, you will answer the exact question before you explain anything else. For the first time, she did not ask what the answer might earn. Monica unlocked the small conference room used for difficult personnel meetings, set 2 cups of tea on the table, and left us alone. The tea went cold. I aligned my notepad with the table edge. Amara straightened one cuff. She left the other twisted. Why did you sign the false statement? I thought the whole composition was about to collapse. Booker's money, the workshops, the venue. The exact choice first. She looked down at the blue line on my notepad. I signed it because I wanted to protect his funding. I waited. And the access he gave me, she said. I kept waiting. Her voice dropped. And the fantasy. What fantasy? That he saw me as singular, not useful, not dependable, not the person who made everyone else's vision possible. Booker had offered her light, and she had made me the shadow required to keep it. Did you believe I was possessive? No. Did you believe I caused the gala interruption? No. Then say what you did without describing how the room felt. I approved a false statement about you because it protected the funding, my access to Booker, and the version of myself I wanted him to keep reflecting back to me. She admitted protecting Booker's funding, her access, and the fantasy that his attention made her singular. The answer hurt because it was smaller than awakening and more deliberate. She had not been swept into another life. She had protected a bargain. Amara put both hands in her lap. I will correct the minutes. I won't attend the meeting. I know. You will state that I did not sabotage the gala and did not control your choices. Yes. You will not use passive language. No. And you will not describe the correction as something I forced. I won't. What happens to your job is not part of our marriage negotiation. Her eyes closed briefly. Understood. I left the tea untouched and kept the table between us. Does this change anything between us? She asked. It changes what I know you can admit. It does not restore access. She nodded once. Then she looked at the notepad. May I borrow your pen? I slid it across the table. She took it without touching my hand and carried it alone toward the committee room. On Tuesday afternoon, I waited outside the committee room again. The frosted glass trembled with voices. Rhea spoke first, controlled even through the door. Confidence could be preserved with a general clarification. Monica's answer was sharper. Who approved the false statement? A statement was approved during considerable pressure. No passive voice. There was a pause. Then Amara said, clearly enough to reach the hallway, I approved it. I stayed away from the handle. When the door opened, Monica carried the original minutes, a signed correction, and the amendment log. Amara followed with my pen in her hand. Rhea came last. The amendment is entered, Monica said. Read the relevant language, I replied. She did. Caleb Rowe did not cause, engineer, or sabotage the gala feed interruption. He did not control Amara Rowe's private or professional choices. Amara Rowe approved the prior explanation and withdraws it as false. The amendment stated that I had neither sabotaged nor controlled the gala. Rhea adjusted her badge. The correction will create avoidable donor concern. The inaccurate record created the problem, Monica said. The correction makes the organization answerable for it. The original minutes stayed in the record, with her signed correction appended. Monica showed the distribution receipt. The committee and board recipients had received the amendment. No sexual details appeared in it. The governance breach did. Amara held out my pen. I took it. She did not reach for my hand. I corrected it without asking what you would do afterward, she said. I know. That is not a request. I know that too. The false official version no longer stood unchallenged. It was relief, but not repair. One false record had been lifted. The signature beneath the original remained part of what had happened. Rhea stepped toward Amara. Booker will know before the budget meeting. He should, Amara said. He may reconsider the grant. Then he will be making another choice. Rhea walked away, already reaching for her phone. The correction reached Booker's money before it reached anyone's sympathy. Booker had asked that I attend the first 10 minutes of Wednesday's budget meeting. He wanted an audience for the price. His written withdrawal notice lay beside a ledger marked in red. Monica sat at the head of the table. Amara had her donor badge in front of her. Rhea held a second envelope. Booker withdrew the grant, and Rhea closed the donor doors. Monica tapped the ledger. The pledge had not been released. No charity funds were received, so there is no clawback. There is now a budget shortfall. Booker folded his hands. The release depended on confidence in leadership. The pledge terms permit withdrawal, Monica said. They do not require us to misstate why you withdrew. Momentum is not a misstatement. Amara looked at him. Would you reconsider if I retracted the correction? He smiled. I would reconsider if the institution restored a coherent account. That means yes, she said. It means your choices remain material. Amara left the correction standing. No, she said. The amendment stays. Booker's written notice canceled an unreleased pledge. The charity had never received the money. Monica circled one line in the revised budget. The youth workshop stays. We will present the remaining reductions to the board. Rhea slid the second envelope toward Amara. Your donor event credentials are revoked immediately. The board has also initiated a leadership review. The notice includes your response deadline. Ria revoked Amara's donor credentials and delivered the board's leadership review notice. Amara read both pages. Then she placed her badge beside the red deficit. The plastic rectangle looked more like a key after the lock had changed. We had once kept 2 spare house keys on one hook because separate access had seemed unnecessary. I left the badge where she put it. Booker watched me. No satisfaction? Her employment is not a bargaining chip between us. You could restore the endorsement and solve several problems at once. No. Amara did not look at me for rescue. That was new. It was not enough to make us married again. Monica closed the budget folder. We have the answer. The programs will be revised around the loss, not around a retraction. Booker stood. He had converted money and access into punishment, and Amara had accepted both without changing the record. The cost made her correction credible. It did not erase why it had been necessary. If truth drew that much pressure in a budget room, I needed to know what Booker would do when Vera put the balcony outside his opening night vision. I took that concern to the fire marshal's plan table the next morning. Vera's plan room held more people than chairs. Grant stood beside me. Malik had the service route sheet. Jonas kept his pen aligned with the financial summary. Amara remained near the wall, present as arts director while her review continued. Booker and Ria took the seats closest to Vera. She set the inspection findings on top of the opening plan. Statement 1, Vera said. The balcony latch has not passed verification. Booker started to speak. She raised one finger. Statement 2. The secondary egress condition has not been documented as compliant. Statement 3. The balcony is excluded from opening night occupancy. Vera removed her glasses. Booker leaned forward. We are requesting a ceremonial exception. No general patron use. A controlled ribbon photograph only. Booker asked for a ceremonial exception before Vera denied it. No, Vera said. Ria smoothed her lapel. A visible closure creates a confidence problem for stakeholders. A capacity violation creates a safety problem for people, Vera replied. She took a red grease pencil and crossed the balcony route on every copy. Vera drew a red line across the balcony route and signed the revised capacity plan. Amara spoke from the wall. The ceremony can remain on the gallery floor. Booker did not look at her. The balcony is the architectural statement. The latch is also making a statement, Grant said. Malik placed one finger on the service lane. My people need this clear. If patrons go upstairs, service traffic has nowhere clean to move. Jonas adjusted his pen. Financial confidence is contingent on a compliant opening. I cannot describe an exception as immaterial after this meeting. Booker turned to me. Convenient outcome for a husband who wants to deny his wife a stage. I let Vera answer. This restriction rests on my inspection and the submitted permit conditions, she said. Mr. Rowe does not control it. Any opening night use of that route would violate the approved plan. Vera distributed the signed copies. The venue received written notice that use of the excluded route could trigger immediate shutdown. My copy defined the condition but gave me no emergency authority yet. The ruling validated the hazard and increased the risk. Booker had requested an exception in a room full of witnesses. That did not prove he intended to violate the plan. It proved spectacle still mattered to him after the latch became official. The opening needs a named safety lead, Vera said. Written limits, conflict disclosure, designated controls, and insurer approval. I want the agreement by Friday. Grant looked at the marked plan. You're considering it, he said, only if the authority is written. And the firm? Protected before I sign. The red line went straight from Vera's table to our final scope meeting. The draft agreement contained the words Rowe Compliance Endorsement in the second paragraph. I struck them out before I sat down. Booker watched the black line cross his preferred language. Ria had the venue copy. Jonas held the financial conditions. Vera had the emergency plan and conflict disclosure. Grant stood beside me with the firm's copy unopened. Malik waited near the permit room door with the opening operations sheet. Amara sat against the wall, her directorship still under review. Booker tapped the crossed-out clause. Your presence has no value if donors cannot understand what it means. They can understand a limited safety role. They will understand doubt. They should. Grant ran his thumb along his phone case. Great. We finally found a way to save the crowd and irritate every client at once. One joke. Then he opened the agreement. Our exposure? He asked Vera. Caleb may access designated emergency controls and approved operating areas, she said. He may act when he reasonably observes imminent capacity or egress risk. He cannot certify the balcony. Every emergency action remains subject to marshal and insurer review. The insurer's written approval was attached. The balcony exclusion was attached. My personal conflict was stated without details of the affair. Jonas said, "Donors may be told the venue retained row compliance for limited opening night safety operations. They may not be told the firm endorses the venue or balcony." Rhea looked at me. "That distinction will be difficult to communicate." "Use the exact words." Booker smiled. "And your defamation claim?" I placed the draft demand beneath the agreement. "Paused until after opening, not withdrawn, not traded for access." Amara's eyes moved from the demand to the crossed-out branding clause. "You are taking responsibility for the room," she said, "for the people in it." "That includes him?" "Yes." Booker leaned back. "How disciplined?" "No. Limited." Malik opened the operations sheet. "I need authority to keep the service exit clear." "You have it under the approved plan," Vera said. "If anyone redirects your people, notify the safety lead." Grant reviewed the final page twice. "If the venue uses Caleb's name as a general endorsement, we terminate," he said. "If he acts outside scope, the firm does not conceal it. If the venue interferes with emergency controls, we document and report." Vera nodded. "Add it." I struck the branding clause and signed only the limited safety scope. Grant co-signed after the protections were entered. The venue and firm retained executed copies. Vera kept the conflict disclosure, and Jonas received only the language authorized for funders. The agreement gave me designated emergency authority, not permission to certify the balcony. I had closed the easy exits. I would not disappear into litigation before opening. I would not lend Booker my seal. I would stand inside the venue and protect the same people who had accepted his version of me. Malik opened the permit room door. Downstairs, the ribbon crew was already moving equipment before I had compared their ceremony route to the red plan. Gold fabric cut across the taped egress line. I stopped beside a rolling cart and followed it with my eyes. One end was tied to the donor wall. The other pointed toward the west stair and the excluded balcony. Rhea pointed the gold ribbon toward the west stair and ordered the crew to run it there. Malik checked where each of his workers stood before he approached her. "That crosses my service lane." "The approach needs to look clean," Rhea said. "Move your people and the carts behind the west door." "That route is closed." "It is a staging instruction." "It is still closed." Booker came down the gallery steps, smiling as if Malik had complimented the room. "The ribbon creates momentum from the ceremony into the architecture." I laid Vera's signed capacity plan on the cart and squared its red exclusion against the ribbon. "This is the approved route," I said. "Gallery floor, no west stair." Booker glanced at the map. "No one said the balcony would hold general occupancy." "What happens when you unclip the ribbon?" "The patrons follow the experience toward an excluded stair." Rhea adjusted her opening badge. "A final run sheet is still being refined." "Show me the current one." "That document is with production." Jonas had been reviewing donor placements at the far wall. He came close enough to see the conflict but said nothing. His pen shifted between his fingers. I called Vera and put her on speaker. "The signed exclusion controls," she said. "A ceremony route cannot imply access to the balcony. Correct the staging before admission." Rhea answered. "Understood. We will resolve the visual language during the final run." She did not order the ribbon removed. Malik counted his workers before refusing to move them into the closed route. "My people stay on the service side," he said. "This lane stays clear." I nodded once. "The plan supports that." I did not speak for him, or soften what his refusal might cost. Years earlier, Amara had painted a vent cover gold after I taught her how smoke gathered above a ceiling line. Safety did not have to look frightened, she had said. This ribbon was different. The gold was there to hide the red line underneath it. Jonas looked from the ribbon to the map. "I need to review what donors were promised." Booker's smile held. "Review quickly." The ribbon stayed while the setup advanced, and I stopped treating the route as a rehearsal mistake. A sun-faded rectangle marked the wall where Amara's largest exhibition poster had hung. Monica labeled a box, operations, and placed it beside the desk. I waited at the doorway with the approved patron route restrictions. Amara had asked me to witness the handoff, not help her pack. I kept my hands off the boxes. Amara signed the resignation, surrendered her office keys, and slid the handoff checklist to Monica. Monica reviewed each line. Staffing authority, donor access, program approvals, payroll termination. "Effective now," Monica said. "I accept operational control under the bylaws. The The board review continues, but you no longer hold the directorship. Amara removed her badge and set it beside the keys. Booker entered without knocking. Rhea followed him carrying a grant folder. "This is unnecessary," Booker said. "The withdrawn funding can be restored before Monday." Monica closed the handoff folder. "I control acceptance now." Booker kept his attention on Amara. "Withdraw the resignation. The grant returns. Your programs survive, and this entire episode becomes a revision instead of a funeral." Booker offered to restore the grant, and Amara refused it with Monica standing beside her. "No," she said. "Keep it." Rhea smoothed her cuff. "You understand how this will be interpreted. People will say Caleb forced you out." Amara looked at her empty wall before answering. "I approved false language because I wanted funding, access, and a version of myself," Booker reflected back at me. "Caleb did not sign that language. He did not make me resign." Booker's voice stayed polished. "You told me you wanted a life where you were central." "I did. I chose you because you made that desire feel beautiful." Her fingers tightened around the edge of the desk. "I also chose the lie that protected it. I'm not asking Monica's staff to carry either choice." Monica wrote the continuing budget gap into the handoff record. No grant changed hands. Booker turned to me. "You enjoy watching her surrender." No. It was true. Respect did not make the room hurt less. After Booker and Rhea left, Amara straightened the label on the last box. "Does this restore anything?" she asked. "No." She took the answer without reframing it. "It changes what I know you're willing to lose," I said. "It does not reopen home, trust, or intimacy." Her eyes closed for one breath. "Understood." My phone vibrated. Jonas had left a message asking me to bring Vera's plan to his finance suite. He had found something in the donor print. Fresh ink shone beneath the finance suite lights. Jonas set a glossy program beside Vera's signed plan, then reordered his pen beside an unsigned release page. Vera sat across from him. Booker and Rhea appeared on a conference screen. The donor program promised an 840 ribbon photograph on the balcony Vera had excluded. The page included the west stair, the gold ribbon, and a row of patrons posed beyond the closed route. I aligned it with Vera's red mark. "When did this program arrive?" I asked. "This morning," Jonas said. "It was included with the final release request." Rhea leaned toward the camera. "The image is aspirational. Printing schedules do not always track operational revisions." "The ribbon was installed yesterday," I said. "A visual element?" "Pointed at the same stair shown here." Booker smiled before answering. "The balcony is the building's defining vision. Of course, the program anticipates it." Vera tapped the exclusion with one finger. "Anticipation does not amend capacity." Jonas turned the program to the release schedule. "The donor funds are contingent on accurate material representations. Is the photograph still planned?" Booker's expression did not change. "The opening will find its natural momentum." "That is not an answer," Jonas said. It was the first time I had heard him stop qualifying a sentence. I asked one question. "Will you fund what you showed me?" Jonas looked at the balcony image, then at Booker. "No, not while this conflict remains." Booker sat back. "Then I will replace you before the release. If you replace me, my withdrawal will already be documented." Jonas left the release page unsigned and kept the program in his own file. I received no copy. Vera received no private financial file. We had view-only access to the operational promise and the page that kept the money from moving. Rhea said, "You are manufacturing materiality out of a photograph." "No," Jonas replied. "You printed materiality in gold ink." Booker looked at me. "You finally have the dramatic evidence you wanted." "I wanted a compliant route." "You wanted to prove intent." Until that morning, I had allowed for pressure, vanity, and a rehearsal that could still be corrected. I stopped preparing for a mistake and started preparing for a deliberate breach. Jonas warned Booker in writing that balcony use would stop the release. Vera repeated that the exclusion remained binding. I left with certainty instead of paper. Opening assignments now had to assume Booker would make the breach public and dare me to stop him. The gray lanyard scratched across the acrylic roster when Monica moved Amara's name onto patron guidance. Amara stood across the briefing table from me. Her office keys were gone. Her former title had been removed from every page. Monica assigned the limited badge, and I restricted every exchange with Amara to public space or radio. The credential allowed patron guidance, not office donor or staff authority. "You know the donor groups and the regular patrons," Monica told her. "You direct people only within the approved floor plan." Any route conflict goes to Caleb or floor command. I understand, Amara said. Booker stopped in the open doorway. She resigned yesterday. She did, Monica said. Then she has no place on my opening floor. Monica closed the staffing folder. It is not your floor. I control our organization's assigned staff and guides. Vera's plan permits designated patron guidance. Booker looked at Amara. This is the caliber of role you traded your directorship for? Amara straightened the badge before meeting his eyes. It's a role that does not require anyone to lie for me. He left without answering. The other guides moved toward the gallery, leaving Amara and me at opposite ends of the table. Does the resignation restore anything? She asked. No. I know what you said yesterday. I needed to hear whether the answer changed. It didn't. Her hand rested beside the roster, close to mine but not touching. I remembered the 2 spare keys we had kept on one hook for 10 years. Neither of us had believed permission could expire inside a marriage. All contact stays on the radio or in public areas, I said. No side rooms, no private check-ins, no using the opening to discuss us. All right? If there is danger, I will trust an exact report from you. That is operational trust. It is not marital trust. She swallowed. Understood. The distinction hurt both of us. That did not make it unfair. A radio on the table came alive with Ria's voice. Malik, report to the West Service route. Booker wants the ribbon floor cleared before doors. I picked up my copy of the approved plan. Amara took her limited badge. We moved separately toward the service side. Hot food carts trembled beside the taped clear lane. Malik's crew stood between the kitchen doors and the approved service exit. Booker waited beside the gold ribbon. Ria held a tablet open to the vendor file. Booker ordered Malik's crew through the closed route to clear the ribbon floor. You can stage them behind the west door until patron photographs finish, Booker said. 10 minutes. Malik checked every worker before answering. No, my people stay here. Ria lowered the tablet. The floor must be visually clean. The lane must stay actually clean, Malik said. Booker's smile came first. You have built a strong reputation with our patrons. Do not reduce a long relationship to one temporary inconvenience. Malik looked toward the west door. The defective route waited behind it. My answer was polite the first time, he said. It is still no. I stepped beside him and pointed to the red line on my plan. The west route remains closed. This lane is required for service and emergency egress. Ria said, no one asked you to direct his business decision. I'm confirming the safety condition. His contract choice belongs to him. She tapped the tablet. Ria sent the cancellation notice and Malik's phone vibrated in his hand. Your patron agreement is terminated effective immediately, she said. The crew can be removed now. Malik read the notice once. We will invoice the earned work. We will not move loaded carts through a closed route. Booker said, then take them out through the patron floor. Doors open in 20 minutes, I said. That would obstruct admission. Safe closeout remains through the approved service side. Cancellation ended Malik's future work and any unearned service. It did not make Ria's preferred route compliant. Malik put his phone away. My people finished the safe closeout, then they moved through the approved exit. Ria's jaw tightened. You will not receive another Booker event. Enough, Malik said. I heard you. He did not ask me to save the contract. I could not. His workers pulled the carts tight to the service wall and preserved the clear lane. Several were angry. None stepped into the closed route. I stood with Malik long enough to make the plan visible, then returned to my controls. The doors opened with fewer vendors, one canceled contract, and the gold ribbon still aimed at the stair. Nadia waited outside the control booth with her inactive badge closed in one hand. Ria stood inside with her palm on the console. Booker watched from the center aisle. Grant held position at the west egress while Vera checked the door clock. Ria looked at Nadia. She does not touch this system. Then the doors stay closed, Vera said. The gala feed failed under her control. The logs show an accidental patch. They also show she preserved the record when you asked for a different account. Nadia's fingers tightened around the badge. Vera restored Nadia's restricted console badge and required dual control before she would open the doors. Restricted access, Vera told her. Safety functions only. Every queue receives a callback. Nadia pressed the badge to the reader. Red changed to green. She counted silently on her fingers, entered her code, and looked at me. Console live. Emergency channel standing by. I raised my radio. Grant, west egress. At the door. Nadia, stage feed only. Stand by cutoff. Standing by cutoff. Cut. The relays clicked. The bass hum vanished beneath my palm against the booth wall. Amara had once put my hand against an empty theater wall and asked whether I could feel the music waiting. This time, I needed the wall to go still. Restore. The hum returned. House lights full. White light washed the aisle. Booker lifted a hand against it. West egress release, I said. A lock snapped through the radio. Grant answered, released. Door open, exterior landing clear. Nadia watched the console indicators. Gallery return is green. Rhea reached toward the ceremony controls. That is enough. No, Vera said. Run it again. Booker stepped closer to me. You are rehearsing how to kill my opening. I'm rehearsing how to stop an emergency. Defined by you. Observed by me. Reviewed by Vera. Vera removed her glasses. That is the agreement you signed. We ran the sequence again without missing a call. Nadia repeated every cue exactly. Grant confirmed the release, closed it on command, then reopened it for the final check. Vera signed the line check log. Doors may open. The balcony remains excluded. Any movement toward that route requires an immediate hold. Rhea turned back to the console. Nadia's ceremony screen advanced one line. Ribbon walk. I left the booth and went to the worst sight line in the room. The least flattering place in the gallery was beside the balcony rail, where I could see the north donor entrance, the gold ribbon, and the dark west stair. Amara used to make me choose that seat before her openings. Tell me what the audience cannot see, she would whisper. That night, the answer was Booker. He stood near the donor wall, drawing patrons around him in small groups, while Rhea kept the scheduled ceremony moving. Monica watched from the patron guidance station. Amara crossed the floor toward me. She straightened a bent program before she spoke. Amara said Booker had gathered donors beside the hidden ribbon and was moving them toward the stair. How many? I asked. 23 near him. More coming from the main hall. He told the first group to wait for a private architectural reveal. Did he name the balcony? He called it the defining view. Rhea reached us before I could answer. Caleb, you are needed backstage. My position is here. Your visibility is disrupting the ceremony. My scope includes direct observation of the excluded route. Rhea looked at Amara. And reports from a disgruntled former employee? Monica closed the roster folder. Amara is an assigned patron guide. Her report falls within that duty. She has a personal interest. So do I said. That is disclosed. The route is still closed. I squared the folded capacity map against the rail. Rhea lowered her voice. If you stand here waiting for Booker to fail, every donor will read your motive before they see any danger. I'm not waiting for him to fail. What are you waiting for? A concrete hazard. Amara did not ask whether I believed her. She looked over my shoulder. He's moving now, she said. Booker stepped into the center of the donor cluster. The gold ribbon flickered beside him under the stage light. His hand reached for the clasp. Booker took the clasp between two fingers. Hold the route, I said. My voice carried across the donor cluster without becoming a shout. He looked directly at me, smiled, and opened it anyway. Booker unclipped the ribbon and invited the donors toward the balcony after my audible hold. Ladies and gentlemen, he said, the building's defining view has waited long enough. The first group shifted toward him. I raised one palm. The west stair and balcony are closed. Remain on the gallery floor. Booker let the ribbon fall behind him. You have all watched fear disguise itself as professionalism. Tonight, vision wins. A donor near the front stopped. We were told the photograph was approved. It is controlled, Booker said. Follow me. It is excluded, I said. Rhea touched her headset. Do not interrupt the ceremony. The ceremony has breached the plan. Send the stop cue. She turned away from me. Stand by. Nadia's voice came through my radio. No stop cue received from chair. Log the hold, I said. Hold logged. Amara moved to the left side of the clear lane. The gallery floor remains open, she told the patrons. Please stay behind the line. Booker pointed toward her. My former muse has been given a gray badge and a husband's script. Amara's face went still. This is my report, she said. The stair is closed. Malik counted his remaining workers and placed them along the opposite edge of the service lane. His contract was gone. He stayed anyway. My people hold here, he said. Keep this path clear. Jonas stood near the donor table with the printed program in his hand. The funding representation required a compliant opening, he said. This route is not compliant. Booker did not look back. You no longer speak for my investors. I speak for the release I have not authorized. The bass deepened beneath the music. Vibration traveled through the balcony rail into my palm. I called Vera. Active route breach. Gold ribbon open. Patrons entering the stair approach. Chair has not sent the stop. Do you have direct observation? She asked. Yes. Rhea turned on me. They are standing on an approach, not occupying the balcony. Do not humiliate them with an evacuation. Stop the procession. Give me time to reset the room. Booker climbed the first step and faced the crowd. Are you going to let a jealous husband decide which doors you may enter? That moved them. Social pressure has weight. It does not appear on a capacity chart, but it can drive people into the same narrow path faster than any sign can stop them. The first donors stepped onto the stair approach, and monitoring was no longer enough. Amara held one side of the lane. Malik held the other. Jonas stepped away from Booker. Nadia waited on the emergency channel. I put my thumb on the radio switch. Stand by emergency queue. The rail vibrated harder when the second group crowded the stair approach. Emergency queue, I said. Stage power off, house lights full, open west egress. Rhea wheeled toward the booth. Hold that queue. Nadia counted once on her fingers. Executing emergency sequence, she said. I lifted the guard over the manual cutoff. Rhea terminated row compliance at the venue, effective immediately, and Grant answered that it was documented. The contract was gone before my hand came down. I cut the stage power, released the west egress, and planted myself across the balcony threshold. The bass died. Locks snapped open along the west wall. Full house lights rose and stripped the room of every flattering shadow. Booker climbed another step. Move, he said. No, you have no contract. I have an active emergency. Turn around. He faced the donors instead. This is revenge. He has wanted this room since the night his wife chose someone else. West exit is open, I said. Follow the guides. Vera's voice cut across the emergency channel. Evacuate the upper gallery to the west egress. Floor staff execute. Amara stepped away from Booker and raised both hands. This way, she called. Stay together. Do not use the stair. Malik kept the lane clear while his crew redirected patrons toward the open exit. Service side is clear, he told me. Keep them moving. Grant's voice came through my radio. Exterior landing clear. Nadia repeated Vera's evacuation order over the house system. Rhea grabbed her headset. We can preserve the main program if the first group remains in place. No, Vera said. Evacuation continues. Jonas held the printed program against his chest. The balcony was never approved, he told the nearest donors. Turn back. A woman near Booker stopped. The people behind her stopped with her. Then the line began to reverse. Amara steadied the woman by one elbow, released her when she found her balance, and pointed her toward Malik's lane. Booker tried to step around me. I shifted once and kept my shoulders square. I am the patron of this building, he said. You are standing in a closed route. His polished expression failed. Get out of my way. No, I was protecting him too. He had expected anger he could display. He had not expected me to deny him the injury that would complete his story about me. The last donor cleared the approach. Lane empty, Malik called. Grant confirmed the exit count. My hands started shaking only then. Under the full house lights, Booker pointed at me and began telling everyone I had shut down the opening to punish him. White house lights flattened every polished surface in the hall. I released the rail. Patrons gathered on the main floor while Vera crossed to the closed stair. Booker kept speaking before anyone asked him a question. This was marital revenge, he said. Caleb created panic where none existed. Rhea adjusted her badge. The opening can still be stabilized if stakeholders preserve confidence. Amara stepped between them and the donor group. Amara confirmed Booker's order before he could turn the shutdown into a marriage story. He unclipped the ribbon after Caleb called a hold, she said. He told patrons to follow him onto the excluded route. Rhea did not send the stop cue. I redirected people because the stair and balcony were closed. Booker stared at her. You know why he did this. I know what you did. She did not mention love, awakening, or regret. She answered the exact question and stopped. Malik said, My workers heard the hold and Booker's forward order. The service lane stayed clear because we refused the closed route. Nadia came down from the booth, carrying no footage. The venue retained the originals. Nadia authenticated the routing and control logs, which showed my hold and the delayed stop cue. The Gala routing record also shows an accidental patch, she said. Not a manual sabotage command from Caleb. I can authenticate the log submitted to Vera. I did not copy the private video. Ria's hand fell away from her badge. Vera closed the balcony immediately and opened an independent review of my emergency action. Closure is effective now, she said. The venue will preserve the plan, radio traffic, control records, and incident recordings. Mr. Rowe's conduct will be reviewed under the same standard as every other operator. I nodded. Understood. Jonas put the program on a table and straightened his pen beside it. Jonas aligned his pen, signed the suspension notice, and froze every unreleased opening dollar. The reason is material operational breach, he said. No affair detail enters the notice. Booker said, You are finished as my liaison. My withdrawal predates my replacement. Monica closed the organization's staffing folder. Our staff will no longer take instructions from Booker or Ria. The incident file goes to the board. The donors Ria had called stakeholders moved away from her. Booker lost funding and opening access, and Ria lost command of the floor. I let go of the rail and let every witness finish without helping or interrupting. That was the release I had not expected. I did not have to perform innocence. They had performed their choices in public. Amara had told the truth when it cost her the last protection Booker could offer. It made her a truthful witness. It did not make her my wife again. 1 week later, we carried the incident's private consequences into Priya's office. Priya placed both hands flat on the mediation table. Monica sat across from Amara with a closed folder between them. Your resignation remains effective, Monica said. You have no office, donor, staffing, or program authority. Any future contact between the organization and Rowe compliance comes through me. Amara straightened the folder. I understand. Monica stood. That is the organization's only item. She left without offering absolution or punishment. Just the record. Priya looked at Amara, then at me. Celeste sat beside the care calendar with a pencil between her fingers. The agreement does not decide forgiveness, Priya said. It decides access, money, care, contact, and when you review those choices. Are you both ready to answer plainly? Yes, Amara said. Yes, I said. Priya turned the residence page toward us. Amara remains in the former marital home during the temporary term. Caleb moves from Celeste's spare room into the duplex. What automatic access does either spouse retain? None, I said. Amara nodded. I will not use an old key or arrive without consent. The same limit applies to Caleb, Priya said. I accept it. She moved to the financial page. Future earnings? Separate, I said. Shared expenses? Only those allocated here, Amara answered. Individual therapy records? Private, I said. Joint sessions? Amara met my eyes. Only with separate written consent. Priya tapped the fixed date. Review requires a conversation. It does not require reconciliation. I am not asking for forgiveness at the review, Amara said. I am not asking for home access now. I squared my copy beside hers. I will attend the review. I am not promising intimacy. Priya held my gaze. And you will not use uncertainty as continuing punishment? No. The date holds me too. Celeste flattened the care calendar with both palms. Who covers Tuesday? She asked. Amara answered first. I can, if you still want me there. My care is not a hostage note, Celeste said. Tuesday is yours because I chose it. Caleb has Thursday. The provider schedule stays. Celeste approved the care calendar and kept authority over who entered her home on each shift. Priya passed us the final pages. Amara and I signed separate residence, financial, therapy, contact, and review terms without promising reconciliation. Her pen stopped near my hand. She did not touch me. I accept the distance, she said. I accept the review date. The marriage was no longer a symbolic pause. Vera's report would decide before the end of the following week whether my firm survived it. 2 weeks after we signed, I stood in the workshop of my rented duplex with a level in one hand and 2 brass hooks in the other. I labeled one house and the other Celeste. Separate keys, separate purposes, nothing assumed. Grant arrived while I was setting the second screw. He rubbed his thumb along his phone case before holding out an envelope. Grant delivered Vera's signed report while Amara waited on the porch with Celeste's dinner. I opened it against the workbench. Vera's findings cited the approved capacity plan, the active root breach, witness accounts, the radio traffic, Nadia's authenticated logs, and the post-incident inspection. My emergency action had remained inside the authority disclosed in the limited agreement. The report validated my shutdown, preserved the firm, and left the venue contract permanently gone. We keep the insurer, Grant said. We keep the staff. Existing clients are staying. The venue? Gone. No appeal changes that, and I don't think we should try. We won't. He looked through the open workshop door. Amara stood on the porch without touching the handle. A meal cooperative badge hung from her coat. She carried a covered dinner tray for Celeste and a folded pay statement for the income update required by our agreement. Amara's limited work badge and first pay statement showed that her cooperative job had begun. Paid shift? I asked. My third. Supervised operations. No donor work, no leadership title. She held up the folded statement. Priya gets the copy tomorrow. Grant nodded to her, then picked up his keys. The contract stayed gone, he said before leaving. That part is still real. So is the firm. When his car pulled away, Amara remained on the porch. The dinner is for your mother, she said. I can leave it outside. She stayed outside until I chose to invite her across the duplex threshold. You can come in and set it on the bench. She entered without treating the invitation as larger than it was. She kept her coat on. She placed the dinner beside Vera's report and did not ask for a key. The firm survived, she said. Yes? I'm glad. I'm sorry the contract did not. Both are true. She nodded and stepped back toward the open door. The two labeled hooks hung level behind me. My duplex key rested on one, Celeste's care key rested on the other. Amara had crossed one threshold because I invited her, and nothing about that invitation promised the next one. If you want more stories where betrayal meets consequence, subscribe to Infidelity Director. Would you have invited Amara inside or kept the threshold closed? Thanks for listening, and remember that protecting others should never require surrendering your own boundaries.